left of this path. Hey everyone, welcome to a lesser mountaintop in the Tushar Mountains with MinerBiker and the RE Cascade Peak. I am on top of a small unnamed peak. That's Belknap Peak right there, the second highest peak. That is Gold Mountain behind me over there, and I'm on a small unnamed sub peak here in the middle. And the actual ultimate destination of today's ride is Copperbelt Peak across the valley over there. That is where we're headed, but we're on a side trip up here right now. But without further ado, we'll jump back to where I started down on the Beaver Creek Road and bring you along on this grand adventure as we detour up here on an unplanned side trip and then head over towards Copperbelt Peak in the Tushar Mountains. Should be epic. Come along for the adventure. That's Copperbelt Peak straight ahead. There on the other side of Beaver Creek. That's eventually where we're gonna end up, is up on there. It's gonna take kind of a roundabout way to get there. Just kind of mosey around. Such a pretty area up here. No need to rush through it. That's Mount Belknap straight ahead. Second highest peak in the Tushars. It's up there and on its neighboring Mount Baldy just a few weeks ago. Awesome peaks to hike. Don't take bikes on those ones though. A little steep and rugged. I've taken my bike to the top of Delano Peak, the highest in the Tushars, twice. That one's about 30 feet taller than Belknap, but it's much less rugged. Gonna do a bit of a side trip onto this old mining prospect road that cuts up across the mountain above the main Beaver Creek road. So you can see motorized route ends, but no motorized travel beyond this point. Horse-foot bike travel permitted. We're gonna detour up off the main road up here on some of these old mine roads. Check them out along the way up towards Bowling Pasture. Oh wow, a little steep. I get some people that don't give a rip about it being closed to motorized travel and still ride their ATVs on it anyways. Oh yeah. Look, we're on top of a mountain. Now we're miner biking again. Yeah, so there's Belknap right there. I like Belknap. You come up from the other side, up across that saddle, and then up that left side. Awesome hike. Mount Baldy's right behind Belknap. Looking way off into the West Desert out there, and then the huge Fish Creek drainage down below us. I-70 runs right out here, and then you got Gold Mountain and Signal Peak, and two northernmost peaks of the Tushars. And over here is Beaver Creek. Straight across from us over there, that is Copperbelt Peak, which is the ultimate destination for today. But I like this side trip up here. Definitely glad we came up on these old mine roads. This is cool. There's Delano Peak over there. That is the highest peak in the Tushars. Gorgeous mountain. And so now we get to work our way down these other mine roads over here. We'll end up back down on the main Beaver Creek road. Then we'll continue on up to Bowling Pasture and then traverse the ridge out to Copperbelt Peak. And then there's an old mine road over there. Maybe you can see it on the GoPro. Kind of switchbacks off that mountain over there. That's now the non-motorized Copperbelt Peak trail that will be coming back down into Beaver Creek. That's where we're still headed. Quite the epic day already. Road's in kind of rough shape here. Oh, don't you just love it? Taking a bicycle. Crazy places. We was just up on the top of that right there. Climbed up the switchbacking road over there onto the top and then down to here, and we're gonna finish dropping over here just a little bit more, connect back onto the main road. It'll be all boring climbing back up the bowling pasture. It's been awesome. So glad I took this detour. Some big old bars they put in this old road. And here we are at the main road. That might be the coolest unplanned detour I've ever taken. That was awesome. At least as far as roads go, this Beaver Creek road's pretty cool to ride. Steep, a lot of climbing. Tends to get a lot of ATV traffic on it, but boy, it sure is pretty. People sitting on their butts. Miss out on so much if that's the only way you ever get out in the mountains. Just sitting on a machine. Bullion Pasture Trailhead. Here at the top of Bullion Canyon. 3 years ago, me and the dogs got caught in a huge lightning, thunder, hailstorm up here. Hold up in those trees right there for a bit and then rode down Bullion Canyon in like soft and wet flood conditions. It was wild. And right here by the Bullion Pasture Trailhead where this truck's annoyingly parked is where we start traversing our way out towards Copperbelt Peak. Gonna be quite a bit of hike-a-bike going across this. There's gonna be less hike-a-bike on this than if we went up the main Copperbelt Peak trail right up the front, the one that we're gonna be going down. Hey dear. How much trail bed there? Definitely a different perspective on things. There's Bowling Pasture Trailhead over there. That's Mount Baldy, Mount Belknap. That's the mountain the mountain without a name that I went up onto on the old mine roads where I did the video intro. It's right there. Then you got the top of Gold Mountain right there. Main Beaver Creek Road. Very different but cool perspective from up here. A rocky, rugged trail. Just how I like it. Wow. This is all Bullion Canyon down below us. Right over there's Allenite Ridge, where the Allenite Ridge trailhead is. Wow. It's a lot of familiar country from an extremely different perspective. Oh yeah, there's your view. Okay, wow, that's pretty awesome. There's down the mouth of Bullion Canyon at the town of Marysville. Looking across at Monroe Mountain, you got Fish Lake High Top, the background there, Thousand Lake Mountain, Boulder Mountain way in the distance. Over here you got Mount Brigham, or what a lot of people call Mount Etna, or Etna Peak. Right there's Delano Peak, the highest peak in the Tushars. This is all Bullion Canyon. You got the South Fork of Pine Creek that goes up that way. You hike Delano Peak from on this side. Allenite Ridge right over there. This ridge that we've traversed from Bullion Pasture right over there. And then there's Mount Bawley, Mount Belknap. And there's the little mountain that we were on top of earlier. Gold Mountain and Signal Peak behind it. And all the way to the northeast up Sevier Valley. Wow, what a view. Oh, what a cool spot. I've been wanting to come try this route out for a while. I knew it was going to be tough but awesome. Sure enough, it's tough and incredibly awesome. Love it. So good. It feeds the soul. It appears that this little rocky bump right here is actually the highest point on this whole ridge here between Bullion Canyon and Beaver Creek. According to my watch, we're at 11,670 right here. So there is a little bit of discrepancy and confusion. One map I saw shows this right here, this highest point on this ridge is Copperbelt Peak. And another map shows that that little bump over there is Copperbelt Peak, which is definitely shorter than this. I'm really not sure if I am on top of Copperbelt Peak here or not. But either way, I'm on the highest, what appears to be the highest point on this ridge, which is good enough for me. I like it. Happy to be here. From here you can really see down all the rest of the Beaver Creek Road over the top of Deer Creek. You can see the road over there by the Silver King mine site, all the way up the Pavant Mountain Range. Man, what a cool view and perspective from up here. Especially on so many places I've been, like all those other mountains over there. Delano many times. I've biked off of Allenite Ridge and through the pocket and all that stuff over there. It's just so cool to see it all from a perspective I've never had before. So cool. Love it. petered out. And now we're on this old mine road. A lot of rocks. Number one reason I didn't bring either of the dogs on this ride is I knew this descent would be murder on their paws. There's nothing but rock. Woo! Round the corner. Not much left of this path, is there? Ah. God, man, I was expecting a little more trail than that. Now it's winding back out of there. enough years since that old mine road was cut in. The mountains just kind of reclaimed it on a lot of that. Yeah, I want to walk that bit. I don't want to take the really short route down the mountain. Yeah. It's way more dicey than I was expecting it to be across here. Now we're widening back out though. Pretty crazy how what was once these single lane mine roads now completely graded back off by nature, and just a little rough footpath's all that's left. You just had to do that, huh? That's quite a little descent. Quite the little descent. Huh. There's a tree down. Little swamp hole there. Hey look, found a trail sign. Wheel barely came up out of that hole. That's pretty down in here. I always look down into this kind of meadow area down in here, this basin from up on the road. It looks so pretty. This is my first time ever actually being down in here. Oh, that's awesome. It still is awesome. Oh, bumpy on the grass stones. Creek. Ah, it's so pretty down in here. Look down into this little basin down in here from up on the road. And I always thought, man, it looks pretty down in there. Sure enough, it is really pretty down in here. There's the mountain I came down off of up there. Oh, just wonderful. Raise your hand if you're having fun. Oh, so good. Absolutely love it. Love this kind of stuff. Very favorite kind of riding and venturing. And the high point that I was on is behind this. Came down kind of around the face of that was the really sketchy spot, and then over through the trees, switched back in that grassy area over there, and down through and back up here. Pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. I'm genuinely surprised. Kept it going up that spin out. Alright, back on the main Beaver Creek road. Cruise down here about a mile where I parked. Oh, this road's been pretty freshly graded and it is way loose. Looking back up at where we were, clear up there. There's Belknap, still just barely in view. I'm going to disappear around the hill. Quite the epic little route around the top part of Beaver Creek here. Up onto that little mountain over there, it doesn't have a name. And up and out on the ridge up there to that one, and then all the way back down into here. Pretty awesome. Part of Beaver Creek Road's pretty cool with the cliffs. Hey, we made it. Yeah, boys. That was epic. Alrighty, everyone. All wrapped up and done. Oh, that was a good little ride. About 16 miles, 3,600 vertical feet. Highest elevation was 11,670-ish, so pretty high up there. So glad I took that little side trip on the way up. I was not planning to do that. We went up onto those old mine roads. Didn't even know I could even go up there with the bike, and then I saw the sign that said closed to motor vehicles but open to foot, horse, and bike travel. So I was like, hey, they're inviting me in, I'll take them up on it. That was awesome. Great little side trip. And then the planned route, traversing the ridge out to Copperbelt Peak, or whichever one of those is actually Copperbelt Peak. I went to the highest point on the ridge. Whether or not that's actually Copperbelt Peak, slightly debatable. Either way, it was awesome. And then that descent down that old mine road / trail all the way back down in the beautiful meadows at the bottom of the creek. Everything about it, pretty much amazing. Awesome ride. Thanks for watching. Check out other videos will be linked. Like a few weeks ago when I hiked Mount Belknap and Mount Baldy in one hike. That was epic. And all my other stuff from up here in the Tushars, like Pocket Trail, Bullion Canyon, Delano Peak, all that stuff. Absolutely love it up here. It's one of my very favorite places anywhere. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a comment and a like. And check out RE Bikes, as always. The Cascade Peak. Absolutely crushed it. Awesome bike. Keep digging up new places to ride, hike, or otherwise adventure and experience the great outdoors under your own power is always the best.